That's a new song from Fun. It's called Some Nights, and it's on 101.7 KISS FM. Good morning. It's Brandon, Lori, David, Daly. And we're joined in the studio by a guy who's a tad bit intimidating to watch him walk up. And I was telling Lori and David, well, this guy's going to be massive when he walks in. He's going to have to duck down when he walks through the door. We have TNA superstar Crimson in the studio with us for the first time. Good morning, man.
Good morning, Brandon. Long time no see, buddy. How you been?
It's been a little bit, hadn't it? I got to see him for the first time, what was it, 2 years ago?
Maybe a little longer, yeah. 2-3 years ago, I think.
We did some Memphis wrestling stuff at one point. And he came in as one of the new guys. You know, you'll hear all these newer guys are going to come in. And when you see this guy, you're like, wow, that's kind of different. And I saw you do a couple different matches, and we left the event that night. I remember telling a couple different people, this guy is going to be a star. And within a couple of months, I turned on the TV, and there you are on TNA Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, you knew how to call it, man. But yeah, back then, I was really honored to be a part of that Memphis wrestling, and it just so happened to work out. You know, a few months later, I got the call from TNA, and you know, I've been hitting it hard ever since, man.
What was that like when you got that call? Because I know, you know, a lot of people dream of it. There are thousands of people who want to be a wrestling star, and then all of a sudden, you know, you realize, well, it just doesn't work out for everybody, because the people who get to make it to the national level, I mean, it's a very small number of people. You're one of those people.
Yeah, I mean, dream come true. You know, honestly, just a dream come true, and it's very gratifying. I mean, if this is what you want to do, if pro wrestling is what you want to do, you got to put in 110% effort. I mean, you got to live, eat, sleep, and breathe pro wrestling. I mean, it takes all your time, your money, and I mean, it's a bunch of sacrifices you got to make. And when I got that call, it was just like everything paid off right then and there.
Who was it that made the call?
I got a call from a lower guy in talent relations. He's no longer with the company right now, but talked to Terry Taylor after that, and D'Lo Brown, and just talking with those guys. I mean, they brought me in, and as soon as I walked in the door, felt right at home. You know,
what was that first day like? Because at this point, you know, TNA has guys like Hulk Hogan and Sting, and Ric Flair was there, and you walk into this dressing room, and I can imagine what it would feel like, you know, where you're like, oh my gosh, they don't know me. What the heck am I doing here?
Yeah, it was slightly intimidating. You know, those are guys I watched at home as a kid. You know, those are the guys I grew up on. You know, Hulk Hogan, Sting, Angle, Jeff Hardy, guys like that. You know, those are guys I was watching on TV years ago. So to be in the same room with those, working next to those guys, just unreal, unimaginable.
Amazing. So then when we see what happens with you, and how long do we go undefeated where nobody could stop you in TNA?
470 days.
Wow. Not very long, right? No. It's just awesome to see that you have the chance to do that, you know, and to see that you put all this work into it. Because obviously when you look at a guy like you, you know this isn't something that just one day you woke up and said, I think I want to be a wrestler today. You had to put a lot of years into getting the body right, too.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something I knew going into it it's the product is on television. You have to look the part. I mean, and I started training hard as soon as I made the decision. Yeah, I want to train to be a pro wrestler. I started training harder than I've ever trained before. Right. Luckily, I was in the military, got me in some good shape before that. So I came into it in decent shape, worked out hard, and just trained hard. I was training to be I was training pro wrestling school, like 3-4 days a week. Oh, wow. And I was driving over an hour away just to get to that school. So, I mean, there's a lot of sacrifice I made, and luckily, you know, you brought up Sting and Hogan and those guys. Those guys, yes, they're role models, they're icons in the wrestling business, but at the same time, those guys are there to help the younger guys like me, and they do a great job of it. So I'm very, very thankful for that.
Well, see, a lot of times if you follow wrestling media and dirt sheets, they talk about how those guys don't want to help the young guys. They don't want to see young guys succeed, but the stories I've heard over the last couple of years are very much different than that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 9 times out of 10, you can't believe what you read on the internet. And honest to God, those guys are there to help the young guys. You know, and I've heard all that. I've read all that. You know, they don't want to step aside, but that's not true. Yeah. That's what they're there for, to kind of groom the younger guys and you know, polish them up, and they're doing a hell of a job.
Let's talk about tomorrow, because I got this call from a guy a couple days ago who said, hey, do you think you want to go and maybe be a part of this TNA event? We need somebody to kind of host and announce. And I was all excited, like, well, heck yeah, I want to go. So I had to kind of make things work. And I'm doing a river trip tomorrow. We're doing a float trip that's a station event. And I'm going to float part of it, and then they're going to boat me back so I can get to Memphis. It's an hour and a half this way, and then about an hour over this way to go and be a part of this, because I'm excited to be able to be over there with you guys as well, because I've heard about BaseBrawl. I know they did BaseBrawl last year at AutoZone Park, and I didn't get the chance to make it over there. And I'm looking at this lineup this year thinking this show is tomorrow night in Memphis, AutoZone Park, just a cool setting anyway, because it's downtown. You have the whole downtown atmosphere. And then you mentioned one of the guys that you kind of looked up to as you were watching wrestling. You mentioned Jeff Hardy. And the lineup I got, the card that I got, shows that you're in the ring with Jeff Hardy tomorrow night.
That's right, and that's the first time singles match I've ever had with Jeff Hardy. So that that's going to be one to remember, and that's going to be one to witness too. I mean, the BaseBrawl itself is going to be a huge event. Yeah. They're going on right now, and I wasn't a part of last year's here in Memphis, but I've been a part of the BaseBrawls in the past, and those are the shows to go to. Outdoor events, totally fan friendly, kid friendly. It's a good event for the whole family to come out to. You get to meet the wrestlers, sign autographs, take pictures, and it just. As fan-friendly as it gets. You won't get it at any other company, that's for sure. I
remember going, and when I was a kid, I grew up in Dallas. So I wanted to watch world-class wrestling in the Von Erichs, right? I wanted to be Kerry Von Erich. I wasn't blessed to look like Kerry Von Erich. But anyway, the biggest shows that they did were the ones at like Texas Stadium and the Cotton Bowl and places like that. They were the outdoor shows. I always thought they looked cooler and the vibe was different. And you look at this lineup tomorrow, you have the charismatic Enigma Jeff Hardy, you have Crimson, you have the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion Austin Aries, Mr. Anderson, Bobby Roode, Cowboy James Storm. The girls are going to be there as well. Velvet Sky, Madison Rain, Garrett Bischoff, Devon, Christopher Daniels, Kazarian. I mean, the list is huge of talent that's going to be there. And yes, tickets are still available. You can get those when you go to the box office or MemphisRedbirds.com. But the meet and greet thing is like a super low price when you think about all the stuff that you get, because you get in early, you get in 2 hours before the show, and you get to meet all the superstars that you watch on TV every single week. And those tickets are still available as well. And those are only $50 a pop, which when you think about concert prices, I don't know if you've priced like a Taylor Swift show. Mm-hmm. It's like $100 a ticket. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just to get in the building.
I just bought Bieber for like $150 for 2 tickets.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. I don't figure he's probably listening a lot to Bieber, but
you don't want to go.
She actually wanted to take you with her. Anyway, it's BaseBrawl. It's tomorrow, AutoZone Park. We have the details on the Facebook page, and it's my pleasure to have you in here. And when we have guests, we like to do 5 questions, and we have some ready. Okay. They're not difficult, though, I promise. We wouldn't pick on you, I promise.
I hope not.
Okay, let's talk about this. 5 questions. Question number 1. Old school divas. Because, I mean, how old are you?
27.
So you were there for the highlight of some of the early divas, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Sunny or Sable?
I'm going to have to go with Sable. And there's one particular event that always will stand out in my mind, and that was a bikini contest she was in when she came out with the handprints as a bikini. Oh, my gosh.
Is it crazy? I can still picture that.
It's in my head right now. Get out.
Okay, what do you have, Lori?
I think I know the answer to this. Which would you rather lose? Lose your hair or lose your physique?
Oh, wow. That's a tough question because I love my hair. I'd hate to see it go, but
no hair or 60 pounds on your body.
I guess if some had to go, it'd be my hair. I'd just have to pull off the Brandon Baxter bald look.
We'll make it work, right? Yeah, I was scared about this one too. I didn't have a choice. Jennifer Lopez or Katy Perry? It's your pick. Which one?
J-Lo.
All right.
Okay, growing up. Or I'm going to save that one for you. I'm going to do the last one because it sounds kind of weird if you do the last one.
What's the last one?
No. You pick. Boxers, briefs, or commando?
And realize you're sitting right next to her and she's trying to figure it out right now.
Well, I can show you.
Well, I'm a little disappointed because Brandon said you were coming in your tights.
Oh, I did not ever say that. Get her out of here.
Boxer briefs, actually.
Okay.
All right. So, growing up, a Hulkamaniac, a Little Stinger, or a fan of the Nature Boy Ric Flair? You got to pick one.
Hulkamaniac, hands down, growing up. And that's the first memory I have of pro wrestling. Him jumping out of the TV, telling me to say my prayers, eat my vitamins, train hard. And, that sticks with me forever. But definitely Hulkamaniac.
It's awesome, man.
And
I had the weight set.
Really?
Where I wanted, a little blue weight set. I mean, I'm a little bit older than him, but, all the goofy toys I have.
Well, I remember the cartoon. Remember the cartoon?
I want to get the DVDs for my kid because it's just awesome.
Speaking of being older, you said you're 27. So you were 5 the first time I saw the Hulk live.
Yeah, she got to see Hulk and Randy Savage.
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Wow.
Anyway, and I just want to let you know that my wife's not here today because I didn't want her to compare us. I didn't want to feel inferior. I said, do not show up at work.
At home.
Anyway, TNA Superstar Crimson in the studio. Again, it's AutoZone Park. It's BaseBrawl, TNA Impact tomorrow. Tickets available at the box office and at MemphisRedbirds.com. And if you can stick around, man, we'll pop you back on here in a little bit.
Absolutely.
All right, Crimson.